What's up, duelists, and this is a very quick update on the news for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, especially for skills that I just found out yesterday. So as you can see, there are currently 3 skills over here. That's for Yami Bakura, Esperoba, and Yugimoto. But there's actually a 4th skill which is actually for Yugimoto of the Duel Monsters Dimension. But I already unlocked that condition, so that is why it's not appearing right there right now. Henceforth, let's check out the skill for. So the first skill is for Yami Bakura called Spirit Grass, and this is actually a skill that favors those of you who are trying to play Cursed Necrofear or the regular Dark Necrofear kind of deck. But keep in mind this is only for Yami Bakura, so you have the 2 options of activating these different skills once per duel. The first one is sending a level 8 Dark Monster from your hand to the graveyard, then draw a card, or you can activate the second skill, which is before your normal draw. If you have at least 3 monsters in your graveyard, instead of conducting a normal draw, add a level 5 or higher monster to your hand from your graveyard. Then select up to 3 fiend type monsters in your graveyard and banish them. So by banishing them, this allows you to actually activate Curse Necrofear's effect to special summon it onto the field during that turn as well. And this skill can only be used if you begin a deck with one or more Dark Necrofear and no other monsters aside from Fiend or Zombie monsters. So this is a skill that's actually favoring the Dark Necrofear or Cursed Necrofear kind of playstyle and banishing effect. So this is gonna be interesting for you. You're gonna try it out for yourself. So that's one of the things I can recommend. Next one is a skill specifically for Esperoba. So it's called Supernatural Tactics. You can send a monster on your field that originally belongs to your opponent or a Jinzo and send it to the graveyard. Then play a Fiend Mega Cyber from outside your deck and place a Cyber Raider into your opponent's side of the field, specifically in their spell and trap zones, as a face-up continuous trap card. And you can special summon only machine type monsters during the turn you activate this skill. So what does this skill actually mean? So if you actually know Jinzo and also the other version called Jinzo Lord, which essentially destroys face up trap cards and inflicting burn damage to your opponent, this is one way you can go about it. Not to mention, if you already have one Jinzo Lord and another Jinzo on the field, you can activate this skill so that you can take up one space in your opponent's spell and trap zone. Henceforth, if they want to try something like adding more stuff to set on the field, they can no longer do that because you already take up one space. You can use Jinzo's Lord's effect to destroy that continuous trap card and inflict 300 burn damage, or you can leave it right there and go and just continue on with the duel. So that's one of the few things you can try out for yourself. Not to mention, it does seem a bit lackluster, but strategically it is pretty much fine. And you don't necessarily have to play Jinzo Lord to actually use this effect as well, because you are taking up space in your opponent's spell and trap zone. So if you're gonna play something, this kind of like an Ojama kind of tactic, but instead of monster zones, you're actually taking up one space in their spell and trap zone. So the next skill is known as Determination to Fight. So this skill is applied to both of the Yugimotos in the Duel Monster Dimension and also Dark Side of Dimensions. So you gotta begin your deck with either Gadget, Silent Swordsman, or Silent Magician monsters in your main deck, at least 10 of them, and this skill can be used once per turn but thrice per duel, 3 times per duel, for those of you who don't understand. So by applying the following effects, place the Giga Race Gandora, the Dragon of Destruction, or Gandora the X, the Dragon of Demolition, into your graveyard by using these 2 skills. Return a card from your hand to your deck and add a Gandora monster from your deck to your hand. Then you can also normal summon one Gandora monster in addition to your regular normal summon this turn. Send a gadget monster from your field to the graveyard and then play one Silent Magician level 4 or Silent Swordsman level 3 from outside of your deck. So even if you are already having a deck that has mostly a mixture of gadgets, Silent Magicians, or even Silent Swordsmen, this is actually one method for you to actually play around with it to see whether if you actually have a bad opening hand and you do not actually have like Silent Swordsman or Silent Magician at their lowest level, but you do have level up in your hand. So if you want, you can just normal summon one gadget monster, send it to the graveyard, then bring out the Silent Magician, or you can return the card from your hand to the deck to add a Gandora from your deck to your hand. So this means that you actually must have at least one Gandora monster in your deck to apply the first effect. For the second effect, it's basically for gadgets and also allowing you to go into your higher level monsters for silent swordsmen and silent magicians. And it's a pretty interesting one that I've tried out so far. And the thing is that since I do not have Gandora, Giga Race is actually it's honestly a very painful, it's very sad to play around. Not to mention, Giga Race has a great some special summoning effect, so if you want to bring this monster out and essentially give it high attack points, you gotta banish most of the cards that are on your field or on your opponent's side of the field or their graveyards. One way I found out is that by activating Soul Release or even bring out Gandora Dragon of Destruction by halving my own life points and destroying everything that's currently on the field and banishing them. So by doing so, this Gandora at least gains about 300 for each of the banished card. And not to mention, if you are going against an opponent who has a full field, this is your go-to card to essentially do that. But you must keep in mind that you must have monsters or cards that are banished in order to boost up your Giga Race attack points. If not, this is basically a zero attack monster with the effects of depending on how many Gandoras are in the graveyard in order to have the effects run. And if you do not have any other Gandoras aside from one that's inside your graveyard, then this card is pretty much dead. But if you are using the skill called Determination to fight and you have used it up to 3 times already, then your graveyard should have already at least about 3 Gandoras, and you can activate the third or second effect in order for this monster to gain more attack points. Anyways, that's it for the quick news for YuGiOh Duel Links for the skills. And also today is the 4th of April. Tomorrow is the last day for Darkside Dimensions Bakura, since this event ends on the 5th of April, so do your best to get all the event exclusive cards, not to mention the completion reward icon that is currently below. So currently I have 4 Bark of the Dark Rulers, a lot of Dark Master Zork along with just desserts, Crusader Endiamon, and also White Magical Hat. So that's pretty much means that I'm already done with this event and I've already obtained everything that I actually need from this current event. And for Bakura, on the other hand, I managed to level him up to level 27, and I've been using this Jinzo deck. That is currently my favorite one to use so far. I'm using double normal summon, so as you can see, that's why I use Mechanical Chaser inside my deck, aside from having the regular Jinzo searches and the original Jinzos at 3 copies. And as I mentioned in my previous deck profile, you can try this version or the one that I posted, depending on how you're gonna play it and how many copies of Psychic Bounders or even Psychic Mecha Cyber that you have in your current deck. You can go ahead and obtain the Xyz version of Jinzo and maybe play around with that. But as I mentioned, the Psychic Wave itself is kind of almost like the same. It's kind of like a very lackluster unless you're gonna play the Psycho Shock trap card that allows you to bring out, or maybe have a Jinzo Returner. It depends on your own playstyle, but if you want it to be very fast paced, then I recommend using the build that I actually posted. Not to mention, it has won me quite a fair few matches so far, so that's the only things I can say, and I hope you guys are doing well in this event as well. So the next upcoming event is most probably tomorrow, meaning that there's going to be a new video as well as a new event for us to participate. So do your best, switch up on this current event, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow. So until then, stay safe and keep dueling. Goodbye, good night, and stay safe.